Transport across the cell membrane. Cell membrane is one of the great multitasker of biology. It provides structure for the cell and protects cytosolic content from the environment. It is a great gatekeeper. The phospholipid bilayer determines what molecules can move into or out the cell. Cell membranes are semi-permeable, meaning they have control over what molecules can or cannot pass through. Passive transport. It is the transport of molecules across the cell membrane according to concentration gradients, from high concentration to low concentration, until equilibrium is achieved. Simple diffusion. It is a type of passive transport in which molecules move from high concentration to low concentration. It doesn't need a source of energy or need a carrier. Facilitated diffusion. It is a type of passive transport in which molecules still move from high concentration to low concentration. It doesn't need an additional source of energy, but it needs a carrier protein. Molecules attach to a specific site in the carrier. This causes change in the carrier structure. Then molecules detached from the carrier and across the membrane. Active transport. It is the net movement of molecules and ions across a membrane against concentration gradient, from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration. It needs a carrier, it needs an additional source of energy. Co-transport, a form of active transport where transport protein in the cell membrane couples the movement of molecules through the transport protein with the movement of another molecule through transport protein. There are two types of co-transport. Semport is when the two molecules are moving through the membrane protein in the same direction. Example, sodium glucose co-transporter. Antiport is when the two molecules are moving through the membrane protein in opposite direction. Example, sodium calcium pumps. Proton pumps are protein complexes that move the protons generated during oxidation reaction across the cell membrane. As the protons move through the proton pump, they begin to build up on the outside of the membrane. The protons accumulate on the outside of the membrane, creating a concentration gradient. The membrane is permeable to the charged hydrogen ion and they cannot diffuse back across the membrane. Instead, they must pass through a special channel. The protons move through this special channel, which is the enzyme ATP synthesis. This enzyme uses the energy derived from the movement of these protons to convert ADP into ATP. The movement of protons down concentration gradient provides the energy for ATP synthesis. To form ATP, this mechanism of producing ATP is called chemiosmosis. Endocytosis and exocytosis. Some molecules or particles are just too large to pass through the plasma membrane. So, cells use two other active transport processes to move these macromolecules into or out of the cell. Vessels or other bodies in the cytoplasm move macromolecules or large particles across the plasma membrane. There are two types of vessel transport, endocytosis and exocytosis. Endocytosis. Fusing of substances with the cell membrane will form vessels that can be taken inside the cell. Exocytosis is the reverse direction of endocytosis. So, this when molecules exit. It can also be used to get rid of cell waste. It's also really important for getting important material out of the cell it has made. For example, carbohydrates are important for making plant cell wall. So, if the cell wanted to get cell wall, it should get these carbohydrates it made out of the cell to make the cell wall.